ABBA always knew how to turn personal emotions into timeless hits. But once, they did something more than that. They created a song that became both a dance floor anthem and a confession of loneliness.
Some songs don't just become popular. They define an era. Released in 1979, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme was not just another disco hit. It marked a moment when personal drama turned into a universal dance anthem, and when a new electronic sound opened a completely different future for ABBA.
Summer 1979. By that time, ABBA had already been at the top for several years. Songs like Dancing Queen, Take a Chance on Me, and Chiquitita were dominating radio stations and charts around the world. But behind the scenes, something new was being prepared. The band was working on Greatest Hits Volume 2, their second official compilation. The record label wanted more than just a collection of old successes. They needed something new, exclusive, and irresistible. A reason for fans to buy the album again. That demand gave birth to Gimme, Gimme, Gimme.
At first, the song had a working title, Midnight Man. But Bjorn and Benny quickly realized that the repeated phrase, gimme, 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 was far more powerful. It was immediate, emotional, and unforgettable from the very first listen. The lead vocal was given to Agnieszka. Her voice perfectly matched the story of a woman alone at night, sitting in front of the television, waiting, longing for someone after midnight. For the late 1970s, this perspective felt unusually bold and direct. The song is built around a simple scene: a woman alone at night, watching television, waiting for something to happen. There is no glamour in the lyrics, no celebration, only repetition, impatience, and quiet desperation.
For late 1970s pop music, this was unusual. Disco was supposed to be about escape and confidence. Here, the dance floor rhythm hides a very different emotion: loneliness that doesn't disappear, even when the music is loud. This tension between movement and stillness, between rhythm and emptiness, is what gives the song its lasting power. The recording took place at Polar Studios, with sound engineer Michael Tretto once again playing a crucial role. He was known for experimenting with layered vocals and electronic textures. Thanks to his approach, the song gained its signature cold, glass-like synthesizer sound and an unusual vocal depth. ABBA had always aimed to sound modern, but this time they went further than ever before. The defining element of the song is the famous ARP Odyssey synthesizer riff. At the time, this instrument was mostly associated with progressive rock and experimental electronic music, bands like Emerson, Lake and Palmer or early Ultravox. In mainstream pop, such a sound was still rare. Benny Andersson made a bold decision. For the first time in an ABBA song, the synthesizer became the driving force, not the vocals or the strings.
The drums and bass provided a familiar disco pulse, while Agnieszka's and Frida's vocals were layered again and again, almost forming a choir. But above everything else stood the electronic sound, mechanical, relentless, and forward-moving. Here lies the key contrast of the song. Structurally, it follows disco rules. Emotionally, it doesn't. Unlike the bright, carefree disco of the Bee Gees, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme sounds darker and more dramatic. It is music of the night, clubs, flashing lights, and inner loneliness.
The song was released in September 1979 and immediately entered the charts. In the UK, it reached number 3. Across Europe, Germany, Switzerland, France, Norway, it consistently placed in the top 10. But there was one major exception.
In the United States, the song was never officially released as a single. The American label feared that ABBA were already too closely associated with European disco, a genre that was losing ground in the US at the time. As a result, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme remained largely a European phenomenon.
On the 1979 tour, however, the song became a spectacle. At Wembley Arena in London, the venue would go dark. Then the synthesizer intro would begin, and one by one, spotlights lit up the stage. For many fans, this moment became the highlight of the entire show.
People didn't just listen. They jumped up, danced in the aisles, and turned the concert into a collective experience. The band themselves later admitted they were surprised by the reaction.
Critics were divided. Some accused ABBA of chasing disco trends and risking their identity. Others argued that the song proved exactly the opposite, that ABBA were capable of evolving and mastering the most modern studio techniques of their time.
In the end, the audience decided. On late 70s dance floors, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme became unavoidable. For millions, it turned into a true anthem of the night.
In 2005, the song returned to global attention. Madonna released Hung Up, built around the very same 1979 synthesizer riff. Bjorn and Benny almost never allowed ABBA's music to be sampled, but for Madonna, they made an exception, and the result was another worldwide hit.
Today, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme remains one of ABBA's most streamed songs. It lives on in Mamma Mia, in karaoke bars, and through millions of new listeners on YouTube and TikTok.
Why this song still works? The secret is contrast. A powerful dance rhythm on the surface, and real emotion underneath. Longing, loneliness, and the quiet hope for love. ABBA always knew how to turn personal feelings into music that never ages. And that is why, decades later, millions still sing along. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Subscribe for more stories about ABBA.